Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Leah, and I will be your host for today. And with me is one of the Reader's Magnet's featured author. And today, he will be sharing to us what this book is all about, him as an author, and of course, what inspired him to write this book. So, everyone, let's all welcome our one and only Mr. Aaron Raskin, author of the book Thank You, God, for Making Me a Woman. Hello, Aaron. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
How are you? Thank you for allowing me to participate with this amazing interview.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Aaron. And you know what? We also wanted to say thank you for also, choosing Reader's Magnet to be part of this journey. Yeah, so Aaron, today is a day that we will be tackling more information about your book and, of course, the inspiration behind it. But before we do that, we wanted to know who Mr. Aaron Raskin is. So, a little bit of self introduction.
So I'm a fifth generation American.
Okay.
My great grandfather came to America in the early 1890s, and he was a Hasidic Jew with a beard. And in those days, to be a Hasidic Jew in America was very challenging. And yet
Mm-hmm.
he continued to hold on to the faith all the years. And he had children and grandchildren that were religious and God fearing. And my grandfather, my mother's father, was a big American rabbi, Rabbi Jacob J. Hecht, the blessed memory. And he inspired me to go into the rabbinics and to be a teacher and a leader. On my father's side, I go back 7 generations, Chabad Lubavitch Hasidim, all the way back to Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, a student of the first Chabad Rebbe. So both of my father's side and my mother's side are very ardent, religious Hasidic Jews, which gave me that persona, that inspiration, that fire to be a light unto all the nations of the world.
Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that, Aaron. So I believe that it's also the whole experience, I mean, the whole inspiration of you creating this book. So, yes,
Yeah.
will you please let us know what is the inspiration about this book and what is this book all about?
So, first of all, I want to share how I got into writing.
Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely.
And
Yeah, how
and
do
the
you got
truth
into
is,
writing?
my rendezvous with writing was actually an accident
Wow, okay, interesting.
because I was doing many tapes and audios and online videos, and there was a author or a publisher who got a hold of my tapes. In those days, we were doing tapes on
Mm,
the Hebrew alphabet, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which I
Hebrew
discussed
alphabet.
on a called known as the Aleph Bet, which is in traditionally the source of all languages came from Hebrew. According to Kabbalah, the world was created with the Hebrew language, and the first language was Aleph Bet, the Hebrew language, and from there came the ABCs, Alpha, Beta. All the other languages came from the original Hebrew, and I explained all those 22 Hebrew letters based on Kabbalah, the gematria, the numerology, and the graphic designs, the artistic design of each letter. And
Mm-hmm.
this publisher really liked it. He said, I'd like to do a book out of it. So he pushed me to transform those classes and lectures into a book format. So that was the way I started the writing campaign. Um, but about my book, Thank You God for Making Me a Woman, it was not my first book. It was after I wrote the
Mm,
book on letters, and then a second book. Finally, I came to the book of Thank You God for Making Me a Woman, which was like a third or fourth book. And this
oh, third or
book
fourth book. Mm-hmm.
really was my original book. In other words, in my mind, this was something that was really, really sitting and percolating in my mind for years. And that is being
Mm-hmm.
raised, as I said earlier, in a Hasidic community, a Hasidic family, very ardent, God fearing Jews. I always knew that the woman was in charge of the home and she was the mainstay of the family. And
Mm-hmm.
she was really the one that gave the knowledge and the wisdom and the advice, etc., etc. So when I meet Western culture, and I become a rabbi of a synagogue. And I'm now bombarded with questions of why are women different than men, and why are women not as important or not equal. To me, it
Mm-hmm.
was a culture shock, because in my life there was always two different roles, and each one
Right.
complemented the other, and there was no such thing as one is less important than the other. And this really caused me to dig deeper to develop the book. Thank you, God, for making me a woman, implying and showing the tremendous power, role, and holiness and importance of the woman,
The woman.
primarily the Jewish woman, but really it's the universal woman. It's the woman of every culture, of every country, of every nation. That
Mm-hmm.
God has endowed the woman with a greater level of understanding, a greater sense of intuition, and that is really what the book is about. And again, it was
Wow.
a response. It was a response to becoming the rabbi of a synagogue in downtown Brooklyn, when these
Mm-hmm.
questions began to really challenge my entire persona and my worldview of purpose and responsibility and role and roles.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what?
You know what?
Thank you so much for sharing that, Aaron. And I really like how you also highlighted in your book that, yes, women are the backbones of families and communities. They
Yeah,
provide all the care, support, and nurturing to their families,
no question, no
which
question.
is very essential to the development of children. Yes. And I agree. Earlier, you mentioned that women also plays a significant role in the community building, and let's say often take on leadership roles in community
Yes, yes,
organizations. Right.
definitely,
And
definitely.
definitely, especially that it also talks about knowledge, critical thinking skills, the confidence, the challenge, social norms by ensuring access to quality
You
educations
should
right
have
now.
written the book. You have
Wow,
all
that's amazing. Yes,
all
yes,
the
and you know what?
vernacular.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
This
I
is
like it
actually the
too.
kind of book that would really help empower women. Wow, I love that. Now you also mentioned earlier, Aaron, that you also have other books as well.
Yes.
Now, yeah, can you tell us more yeah, information about the other books you have? Is this
So,
also
so
significant to this book? Mm-hmm.
So my first book that we actually transcribed from my talks and later was edited and developed and enlarged, etc., is called Letters of Light, and that was a
Whoa,
book
that's an
on the
interesting
on the
title.
on the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. It's called Letters of Light because in Hebrew the word letter etymologically means light, because when you read, it brings inspiration, it gives you insight, it gives you understanding, it brightens your whole future, your whole horizon. So a
Wow, I
letter
like that.
really, by definition, is giving you light, it's giving you wisdom. And
Mm,
this book, by the way, has been very popular within the Christian and Catholic community, where where they study and they observe and they analyze the Hebrew language and the Hebrew letters. So it's really a very good primer when you want to learn Hebrew or just have an idea of the brilliance and the message of each
wow.
letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Each letter has a message. It plays a role in our life and answers a question to a dilemma that we have. Each letter is a teacher. Each letter
Mhm,
is light. It's inspiration. So that's really the Book of Letters of Light, and it's a very good seller. People buy it. It has been translated
mhm.
into Spanish, Portuguese, German, and we're working now on additional languages.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's also interesting. Having these kinds of book right now would really a good guide and help to those people who's interested to know about Hebrews. Also with the one that you mentioned earlier, the Hebrew alphabet. Wow, that's interesting, Aaron. And you know what, Aaron, you also mentioned earlier that your book is very popular, and I also checked this book. Thank you, God, for making me a woman online, where you're able to get a lot of positive feedback, good comments, or a good rating. Now, can you tell me what was the impact of you creating this book to you and to your loved ones? Especially that the inspiration is also coming from them, right?
Say that again. If you can rephrase the question.
Yes. Will you please let us know what was the impact of you writing this book to you and to your loved ones?
So we're talking about the women's book. Thank you, God, for
Yes,
making me a
yes.
woman.
Thank you, God, for making me a woman. Uh huh.
So the feedback was that I never knew these things. Wow, it answers so many questions.
Right.
And others said to me like, you know what? You make good points over there. You have good arguments, and I really have to rethink my whole philosophy. Like, I don't have an answer for you. I cannot um, in any
Yes.
way rebuff what you're saying, but I
Mhm.
definitely have to challenge the way I think and really process what you're saying. So it's definitely an eye opener. It's very provocative. It definitely demands people to think and to re-examine who they are and how they look at Jews, Hasidic Jews in particular, and women, which is really the objective of the book, to empower
Yes.
women and as you said, to make men understand the importance of the
Mhm.
role of women through critical thinking and seeing how today women are now becoming very, very powerful in all fields of leadership, besides, of course, being teachers and mothers,
Mhm.
which are primary and essential, and they are the mainstay of the home, which bring stability to people's lives and
Right.
warmth and and uh, and tremendous confidence to their offsprings. Women today are leading within the business world, within the
Mhm.
scientific world, etc., etc. And we see today a tremendous transformation in the power of the feminine mystique.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. You know what? I really like how you also encourage this, woman that who is more willing to really take action, take responsibility, show initiative, express their opinion, and they generate. And this one would really generally make them feel more energized and motivated. Yeah, because again, for me, I mean, this is just so awesome. Especially, saying that woman is really defined in her inner beauty and strength to really know and believe in herself that she can do things no matter what life throws at her. At the same time, to know so to also help fellow women, and most importantly, knows how to take the lead. Wow, that's exactly. This is just so amazing, Aaron. And you know what,
I
Aaron?
could not have
Um,
said it better myself. You see,
right, right.
I needed a woman to put it into perspective, to say the right
Hmm.
words. Thank
Yes,
you.
exactly. Thank you so much for the Aaron. And yes, Aaron, again, as what I've mentioned earlier, this is such a successful creation. You sharing this book to among as many people, especially women. Now, I wanted to ask this. How has writing, changed your life in any way?
That's a very, very good question. I'm still thinking about it. I don't have an answer.
Okay, you're fine.
It definitely has consumed a lot of my time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a pastime for me, and keeps me out of trouble. I believe that people ask me, Rabbi, when do you have time to write? With the family, with the synagogue, with the community? I say between 2 and 4 in the morning. When I can't
Okay.
sleep, when I can't sleep. But the truth of the matter
Mm-hmm.
is, it's very important to write. It clarifies your thinking, and
Right.
I believe it's something which enhances the person who writes it. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it was an accident, but it's a gift, and I thank God for giving me that blessing and that success that people are actually reading some of the works that I'm writing, which is a blessing.
Oh wow, yes, that's good to hear, Aaron. And you know what, Aaron? Oh, we don't have enough much time, but I wanted to, take this opportunity to at least say something to your readers, or what do you want your readers to take away after reading your book, or what would you tell to people who would like to read your book?
So my message is that each one of us is created in the image of God, and each one of us is put down on this universe, in this world, to make the world a better place, to change the world. And the fact that you are here is not by accident. It's not random. The fact that you are here means that you
Really?
count and that God needs you to go and use out your talents and really contribute to the world in a beautiful way, in a kind way, and make the world a better place.
Wow, that's such a wonderful message. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. And yes, Aaron, it was really an interesting discussion with you. Thank you so much for gracing with us today with Reader's Magnet, to you sharing this whole journey with us. We really appreciate it. And yes, everyone, this is Mr. Aaron Raskin, author of the book, Thank You God for Making Me a Woman. And please do check his book, which is available in rabbiraskin.org, or you
Rabbi,
can also
Rabbi,
follow him.
R-A-B-B-I, Rabbi Raskin.
Yes, rabbiraskin.org. So that's
Yeah.
RabbirAskin.org. All right. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. And yes, as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Aaron.